Today, we're diving into something, well, pretty common, especially as we get older, persistent itching. You know, that little scratch you just brush off, maybe slap on some lotion.
Happens all the time.
But we're asking, could those itches actually mean something more? Could where you itch be like a subtle signal from your body?
That's a really interesting angle. And, you know, while a lot of itching is just, say, dry skin, absolutely.
Right.
There are patterns. Doctors, researchers, they've noticed that persistent itching in certain spots, especially for folks over 60, maybe 70,
Okay.
it can sometimes point towards underlying health things that are, well, worth a closer look.
Right, like little clues the body sends out.
Yeah.
So today we're going to focus on 4 specific areas where these clues might pop up.
Uh-huh.
We're talking lower legs, that tricky spot on the upper or mid-back.
The one you can't quite reach.
Exactly. And the scalp or neck, and also around the chest or abdomen. Our mission here really is to help you, the listener, recognize these potential warning signs and figure out what steps you might want to consider.
It's really about empowerment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Understanding your body's, well, language a bit better. These aren't diagnoses, of course.
Absolutely not.
Just patterns, observations from clinical experience. But paying attention to these little things could be a really proactive step for your long-term health.
Oh yeah, let's start down low then. What about that itch on the lower legs? Calves, shins, maybe ankles?
Yeah.
So many people must just think, oh, it's winter or my skin's just dry.
That's definitely the first thought, and often correct. Our skin does get drier as we age, produces less oil, so dryness, itchiness, very common. But if it's really persistent, like it's there day after day and you don't see a rash, nothing obvious on the skin, it could be a sign of something else. Specifically, reduced blood flow to the legs. We sometimes call this Peripheral Artery Disease, or PAD.
Okay, PAD, so reduced blood flow. How does that actually cause an itch? It seems a bit indirect.
Well, think about it. The arteries going down to your legs get a bit narrowed, maybe some buildup in there.
Right.
So the tissues, the skin down there, they're not getting quite as much oxygen, quite as many nutrients as efficiently.
Oh, okay.
That lack of really good circulation can lead straight to skin dryness, and that dryness often feels itchy, persistently itchy.
So the itch is kind of a symptom of the skin being undernourished because of the circulation.
We got it.
And I imagine poor circulation in the legs, that's probably not just about itchy skin, is it? There must be wider effects.
Oh, absolutely. Our legs are crucial. The muscles down there actually help pump blood back up towards the heart. They call them the second heart sometimes.
Really? The second heart.
Yeah, in a way. So if that circulation is sluggish, it can weaken those muscles, those tissues, and more importantly, it puts extra strain on your actual heart, your whole vascular system.
Okay.
Poor circulation down there is linked, unfortunately, with higher risks for heart disease, stroke, even issues with thinking clearly, cognitive function.
Wow. Okay. So that seemingly minor leg itch could actually be flagging something quite significant for overall health.
It potentially could, yes.
So if someone's noticing this persistent itch, lower legs, no rash, what can they do? What should they think about?
Well, the good news is there's often a lot you can do, especially if you catch it relatively early. Lifestyle adjustments make a big difference.
Like what?
Gentle exercises. Even just flexing your feet and ankles while you're sitting watching TV.
Simple stuff.
Very simple. Short walks, if you're able, really beneficial. When you're resting, try popping your feet up a bit.
Elevating them.
Yeah, helps the blood flow back. Staying hydrated, always good for blood vessels.
Yeah.
Maybe some comfortable compression socks for support. And watching the salt intake can help too, you know, with fluid balance, which affects circulation.
Okay, so lots of practical things. Encourage that blood flow. And the main takeaway is, if that itch sticks around without a clear skin reason, maybe mention circulation to your doctor.
Exactly. It's worth asking the question.
All right. Let's move up the body then. What about the back? Specifically, that upper or mid-back itch, the one you twist around trying to scratch.
Yes, the elusive back itch. Because it is hard to reach, it's so easy to just, you know, ignore it or think, oh, must be my shirt tag or something superficial.
Right, or maybe I just slept funny. But you're suggesting it could be more.
In some instances, yes. Again, persistent itching, upper or mid-back, no rash, nothing obvious on the skin surface.
Yeah.
It can sometimes, and I stress sometimes, be linked to how well your liver or kidneys are working.
The liver and kidneys. How on earth would they cause an itch on the back?
It sounds disconnected, I know. But think about what those organs do. They're filters, right? They remove waste products, toxins from your blood. keep everything in balance.
Okay.
Now, if the liver or kidneys aren't quite up to speed, maybe their function's a bit impaired.
Yeah.
Those waste products that should be filtered out can start to build up in the bloodstream.
Ah, I see.
And these substances circulating in the blood can irritate nerve endings. All over the body, potentially, but the back has a really dense network of nerves.
So it might just be more noticeable there.
It might be felt more intensely or frequently there, yes. It's not the skin itself causing the problem. It's an internal signal manifesting on the skin via the nerves.
That's fascinating. Are there other clues someone might look for if they suspect this kind of connection?
Well, the itch itself often feels quite deep, persistent. Standard creams might not touch it. It can often be worse at night, too.
Oh, disrupting sleep.
Yeah, which adds to fatigue. And depending on which organ might be struggling, you might also notice other things, maybe changes in urine color or frequency, some swelling in the ankles perhaps, or just feeling generally run down, tired.
And just like circulation, liver and kidney health are fundamental, aren't they?
Absolutely vital. They're involved in digestion, energy, hormones, bone health, you name it. If they're not working well, it impacts everything. So the itch isn't the danger, but it's a potential flag for an underlying imbalance that needs attention for your overall longevity and health.
Right. So again, if someone's got this nagging, deep back itch, no rash, what's the first step?
Definitely a conversation with your doctor. Simple blood tests can check liver and kidney function quite easily.
Okay.
And general healthy habits support these organs too. Plenty of water, stay hydrated, a balanced diet, maybe ease up on the heavily processed stuff, being mindful of alcohol, salt intake.
Standard good advice, really.
It often is.
Yeah.
And if you take several medications, it's always worth reviewing them periodically with your doctor, just to see if they might be putting any extra load on the liver or kidneys.
Good point. So that hard-to-reach itch could be a prompt to check those internal filters. Let's keep moving up. Scalp and neck. Lots of people get itchy there, right?
Very common. You know, dry scalp, reaction to hair products, sometimes just thinning skin as we age makes it more sensitive.
Standard stuff.
Standard stuff, often. But again, the key word is persistent. If it's ongoing and you've ruled out the obvious things like dandruff or visible rash, it can sometimes connect to stress, inflammation, maybe even subtle changes in the nervous system.
The nervous system causing a scalp itch. How does that work?
Well, the scalp and neck area is packed with really sensitive nerve endings.
Okay.
These nerves can become sort of hyper-reactive when the body is under prolonged strain. It could be emotional stress, maybe even some underlying neurological tension that's been building up quietly.
So feeling frazzled or constantly worried could actually make your scalp physically itch?
It really could. It's like the body is finding an outlet for that tension through these sensitive nerve pathways.
Wow.
And, you know, as we get older, sometimes our body's stress response system doesn't bounce back as quickly.
Right.
Instead of calming down after stress, we might stay in a low-grade state of alert. This can mean higher levels of stress hormones like cortisol circulating, which can affect immunity and, yes, sensitize those nerve endings.
So the body's stuck slightly on alert, and the scalp feels it. You mentioned other conditions, too.
Yes, and it's important not to jump to conclusions here, but persistent scalp or neck itching has been noted sometimes in people with conditions affecting the nerves, like neuropathy. And much more rarely, it could potentially be a very early, subtle sign related to cognitive changes. The main point is not to dismiss it if the common causes aren't the explanation.
Okay. So if someone's tried changing shampoos, moisturizers, there's no obvious skin issue, but the scalp or neck itch just keeps going, what should they consider?
This is where looking at overall well-being becomes really important. How are your stress levels, really? Your emotional health? Simple things can help calm the nervous system. Deep breathing exercises, seriously effective. Spending time outside in nature. Connecting with friends, hobbies, things you enjoy. Even journaling before bed, just getting thoughts out of your head can make a difference.
It's about managing that underlying tension then, not just the itch itself.
Exactly. Address the stress, and sometimes the itch quiets down too.
Okay, fascinating connection. Let's move to our last area, the center of the body, chest or abdomen. We tend to think of internal feelings there, like aches, but you're saying the skin, the itch, can be a clue too.
That's right. We often focus on internal symptoms when we think about health issues in this core area. But persistent itching across the chest or belly, again, without a rash or obvious skin problem, can sometimes signal something about nutrition.
Nutrition, like what you're eating.
Or more specifically, what your body is absorbing from what you're eating. Nutritional deficiencies or malabsorption problems.
How does not getting enough nutrients cause an itch there?
Well, as we age, our digestive system might not be quite as efficient at pulling out all the essential vitamins and minerals from our food.
Okay.
Think about things like B vitamins, especially B12, essential fatty acids, minerals like zinc, magnesium. These are all vital for healthy skin, for proper nerve signaling, for good immune response.
Right.
If you're running low on these, it can show up in different ways. Skin might become dry, nerve signals can get a bit scrambled, the immune system might be slightly off, and all that can contribute to itching. The torso, the chest, and abdomen is quite nerve dense.
So the itch is a sign the building blocks aren't quite there.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
And the tricky thing is you can have these micronutrient deficiencies even if your weight seems stable. It's not always obvious.
So someone might look perfectly healthy, but still be, in a way, malnourished at a micronutrient level.
That's a good way to put it.
All right.
And that persistent itch in the central body area could be an early nudge from your body saying, hey, I need better nourishment.
Okay, so if someone has this going on chest, abdomen itch, no rash, what are some simple steps? It sounds potentially complicated.
Actually, the steps can be quite encouragingly simple often. It doesn't always mean a massive diet change.
Oh, good.
Small, consistent additions can help, maybe a small handful of nuts or seeds each day, a boiled egg for B vitamins and protein, some berries for vitamins and antioxidants.
Easy things to add in.
Exactly. Or consider a good quality multivitamin designed for older adults. And of course, if you've noticed changes in appetite or you're struggling to eat well, chat with your doctor about it. They might want to check certain nutrient levels.
So that central itch could just be a gentle nudge to focus a bit more on getting those vital nutrients in for overall strength and vitality.
A gentle reminder, precisely.
Okay, this has been really insightful. So let's just quickly recap the 4 spots we looked at.
Sounds good.
Lower legs itching persistently could be about circulation needing a check.
Peripheral artery disease, potentially.
That hard-to-reach upper or mid-back itch may be a sign to look at liver or kidney function.
Worth considering if it's unexplained and persistent.
Scalp or neck itching frequently might tie back to stress, inflammation, the nervous system.
Yeah, managing that overall tension.
And finally, ongoing itching around the chest or abdomen could suggest paying closer attention to nutrition and absorption.
Making sure you're getting those key nutrients.
So the big message seems to be, our bodies do talk to us, sometimes in these really subtle ways, like an itch.
Constantly communicating. We just need to tune in sometimes.
And these signals, they aren't necessarily cause for alarm, are they? More like invitations.
Exactly. Invitations to check in, maybe make some small positive adjustment.
Little things, a bit more walking, tweaking the diet slightly, ensuring good rest, staying connected.
Small steps add up. They really do. Listening to these early signals can genuinely contribute to, well, a longer life, but also one lived with more clarity, more energy, more independence.
So as you're listening, if any of these itchy spots sounded familiar, maybe just take a moment, reflect on it, and perhaps think about one tiny thing you could do this week to support your health in that area.
And maybe just broaden that awareness slightly. Now that you've thought about itching, what other subtle signals might your body be sending that you haven't quite tuned into yet?